A lot of people experience or have experienced narcissistic behavior. It's a brutal experience. We can feel narcissistic behavior is very unnatural as it's using a lot of force and manipulation. This results in disturbed and chaotic energy, where the narcissist is fully invested in the ego world. I will go into this use of force and the importance of ego by exploring it from a point of view of Taoism. Taoism is about harmony, spontaneity, being natural, and values the three basic virtues of compassion, simplicity, and modesty. This appears as being very different from narcissistic energy, where ego controls behavior. This will be my last video of the series exploring Taoism for now. I hope it can be helpful to you and possibly give a different perspective. First, I would like to explore force and softness when it comes to the dynamic of narcissists and empaths. In my opinion, narcissistic behavior shows a lot of force that could be mistaken for strength, and empathic energy shows a lot of softness that could be mistaken for weakness. Taoism has its own view on force and softness. And to illustrate, this is a part of the 78th verse of the Tao Te Ching, a translation of Derek Lin. Nothing in the world is softer or weaker than water, yet nothing is better at overcoming the hard and strong. This is because nothing can replace it, that the weak overcomes the strong, and the soft overcomes the hard. Everybody in the world knows, but cannot put into practice. It might be the most repeated message in Taoism, be like water. When you try to grasp water in your hand and squeeze it tight, you will lose it all. To me, this symbolizes what happens when narcissistic energy tries to control and squeeze another person. It tries to grab all the love and empathy of this person, and thereby they lose it all. The victim will be forced to disconnect with themselves in order to stay in the relationship because of this unhealthy amount of force and control. You can't force a loving relationship. It's simply not the way nature behaves. The weak overcomes the strong in the end. In Taoism, the strength of softness is recognized. The grey rock method might be close to an attempt to be like water, being still. Being like water suggests staying flexible, willing to lower yourself temporarily, appear weak, but to be aware of your harmony with the Tao. Don't let evil enter your heart. Your true self knows you're enough, and you only need to be. Your kindness, love, and compassion will find its way into your life again. Strength and force will break under pressure, whereas softness will bend and survive. Narcissistic behavior seems to only use force and pressure by manipulating, abusing, and controlling their victims. A victim is likely to use a form of force as well in order to survive the painful situation. This is thus using force against yourself as a result of the force of narcissistic behavior. A victim might use force to disconnect from themselves and their mind to adjust the truth. Your truth or intuition can be denied by your mind to reduce the pain of the situation. In my article about cognitive dissonance, I discuss various defense mechanisms the mind uses to reduce the discomfort of cognitive dissonance. I will create another video about this as it's a very important subject. Being able to recognize and accept when something doesn't work is being honest to yourself and will be a relief. This is breaking free. You let the force of your mind trying to make things work or help the narcissist go. You let the force of your mind denying the truth you feel within you go. The unnatural tension then releases. Try to recognize if and how many force you're using to make a relationship work or not. Self-consciousness and awareness of using force will help you to trust your intuition. Think about whether you force yourself to ignore or deny certain things, or whether you force yourself to be better or apologize even when you don't feel you should. If you recognize you use force, think about whether it's worth it. Now, I will go deeper into appearance, personal importance, and ego. You can read the following part of the 24th verse of the Tao Te Ching about excessive personal importance. It's a translation of Dyer. The advice is to clear yourself of any weeds of excessive personal importance. Desires to brag or to seek approval are weeds. The ego needs to be let go, and one should seek an attitude of gratitude and generosity. The sun doesn't say you owe me to the earth, and symbolizes the Tao by offering warmth, light, and energy to all without demanding recognition. It's exactly what narcissistic energy isn't about. This would be a sun that needs attention and wants to be applauded for its efforts. It would only shine where people appreciate it, and preferably even believe in the powerful sun god. It would be conditional. The answer to reducing personal importance is to consciously choose to be in a state of gratitude. Practicing gratitude naturally reduces any domination of the ego. We might recognize being ungrateful or feeling entitled in the characteristics of narcissistic behavior, which shows excessive personal importance. The Tao is walking the path of being a giver rather than a taker. It's providing for others and asking nothing in return. This could be, however, a dangerous view when dealing with narcissistic behavior and being aware of the fact that an empath is a giver. So, does being a giver mean we should accept manipulation or abusive behavior? Of course not. A narcissist forces you to give up yourself, love them, and fulfill their unending needs. It's very unnatural. They are simply using, controlling, and manipulating you, and abusing your nature to give. You should not allow this. I think it's important to start by giving yourself your compassion, kindness, and love. If you have firm boundaries to protect your gentle self, you can be both gentle and firm at the same time. Another verse in the Tao is about the problem of high status or appearance. Seeking the favor of others is not the way of the Tao. When you seek favor and status, it will be alarming when you get it, and it will be alarming as well when you lose it. This applies to the dynamic of the unending needs of narcissistic energy. It makes them fearful. Whether they have the status or favor doesn't matter, as they are always attached to it. They will be afraid to lose it or chasing to get it. Disgrace seems a great fear, and anything will be done to avoid it. The result of this all is a need for appreciation, validation, and ego boosting that fully controls a person involved in narcissistic energy. So how do these principles of Taoism apply to the truth of a narcissist? In my article about cognitive dissonance, I explored the mind of a narcissist. It seems a narcissist fully believes their own truth, and all their actions seem justified by their truth. This truth seems, however, only to be true on the level of ego. If they could validate and appreciate themselves enough, it wouldn't be necessary to seek approval and favor. Clearly, they need this confirmation and even have a thirst for it. It makes them fully dependent on the opinions of others, and this results in disturbed energy. They essentially are a slave to the outside message of praise. The dependent mind is dominating, instead of the way of the Tao, where the independent mind flows freely. It's summarized perfectly by a well-known quote of Lao Tzu: "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." This all shows the disbalance of narcissistic energy. The ego and the need for importance are energized by the inner world self. There is no awareness of their eternal nature. A narcissist has a fully dependent mind and a very strong one. Their false sense is very strong and confident, but fearful as well due to the attachment to outside opinions. It results in disturbed energy, chaos, and contradiction. A narcissist sadly feeds your dependent mind, and your independent mind will not be fed. The independent mind is still within you, though. It's your truth or intuition that knows and feels something is off and gives you signals. From Tao perspective, you have to live without being dependent upon the opinions of others in order to realize your true self. It's essential to remain independent of the opinions of others. This is regardless of opinions being positive or negative. If you make the opinion of others more important than your own, it will impact you. It will disturb the natural flow of eternal energy to your independent mind. Your basic nature is truly yours, and learning to trust it results in being free of other people's opinions. Learn to trust your intuition, your truth, and come back home to yourself. It's important to distinguish between actualizing yourself and actualizing the image of yourself. If you live for your image, you will deny your true eternal self. The lesson from Taoism is to practice gratitude and trust your own inner nature. Find your true self and try to be natural and to live in harmony with your nature. Your true self is eternal and independent of the opinions of others. Realize your worldly identity is not who you are. Your inner nature is one of peace, love, and harmony. You can work towards this by meditation, silencing the mind, and practicing not forcing and gratitude. This was the last video of my series about Taoism. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. If you want to stay updated, please follow my channel. For now, I wish you strength and kindness.